Most people read Surah Al-Kahf for blessings. But what if I told you it's actually a techno-strategic manual? This surah isn't just a story, it's a survival guide for the era of the Dajjal, a time where biology, physics, and economics become weapons. Today, we go deep into the Asbab, the means and science of the cave. This is how the youth of the end times survive a global surveillance state. The first trial of the Dajjal is total surveillance. He is Dajjal, the one who covers the truth. In an era of 5G, LiDAR, and AI-driven thermal satellites, the world is a digital cage. So, where do you hide? Look at the precise Asbab, the scientific means, revealed in verse 17 of Surah Al-Kahf. And you would see the sun when it rose, inclining away from their cave on the right, and when it set, passing them by on the left, while they were within an open space thereof. Let's be scientifically honest. A sun does not dodge a cave. The sun follows a fixed celestial ecliptic. It is physically impossible for the sun to naturally swerve to the right in the morning and then swerve to the left in the evening just to avoid one specific point. So, if the sun didn't change its path, what did? The light itself was manipulated. This points to the existence of an invisible dome, a localized field of refractive shielding. Today, we call this metamaterial cloaking. By creating a field with a negative refractive index, you can force electromagnetic waves, light, heat, and radiation, to flow around an object. This is the manual at work. The companions weren't just in a hole in the ground, they were inside a thermal silhouette blind spot. To the outside world, they didn't exist. To the Dajjal's sensors, there is no heat, no life, only empty rock. This is geometrical stealth, the ultimate blueprint for vanishing from a high-tech tyranny. In modern medicine, we know that a stationary body is a dying body. Without movement, blood flow stops, causing pressure necrosis. The flesh literally rots from the weight of the bone against the skin. By turning them, the manual describes the first protocol of long-term stasis, mechanical blood flow management. Now let's look at this part of the Ayah 18 of Surah Al-Kahf. And we turned them to the right and to the left, while their dog stretched his forelegs at the entrance. But let's use common sense. Even with turning, 309 years on a hard stone floor would crush the skeletal structure. There is a missing link here. Latest science in acoustic levitation shows that high-frequency sound waves can suspend matter in midair. To keep the lymphatic system from collapsing and the skin from touching the stone for 3 centuries, there is a possibility of bioacoustic suspension. Remember the dog at the entrance? Remember the awe that would make anyone flee? This environment wasn't just a cave, it was a high-frequency chamber. If the floor itself was vibrating at a resonant frequency, the bodies would experience a state of microgravitational hovering. They weren't just lying there, they were suspended in a state of frictionless preservation. NASA is currently spending millions on synthetic torpor for deep space travel, lowering the body's core temperature and slowing the heart to near zero. Why does this matter for the end times? Because the Dajjal's ultimate weapon is famine. He will control the world's calories. The manual is teaching us metabolic efficiency. If you understand the Asbab and the technology, you understand how to put the human body into a low-power mode, where faith, nur, becomes your fuel instead of glucose. It is the science of surviving the great hunger by mastering your own biological clock. Why would anyone who stumbled upon the cave flee in absolute terror? Was it a ghost story? Or was it applied physics? To understand the security system of the cave, we must look at the full description of their physical state in verse 18. And you would think them awake while they were asleep. And we turned them to the right and to the left, while their dog stretched his forelegs at the entrance. If you had looked at them, you would have turned from them in flight and been filled with terror. Surah Al-Kahf 18:18. The Quran says, you would think them awake while they were asleep. This is a terrifying biological fact. For the optic nerve to survive 309 years in the dark, the eyes likely remained open or in a state of rapid eye movement, REM. Imagine walking into a cave and seeing men who have been dead for centuries, yet their eyes are wide open, moving and tracking light, while their bodies are being turned by an unseen force. It is a sight that bypasses the logical brain and triggers a primal fight-or-flight response. Subwoofer below 20 Hz are shown vibrating. But the terror wasn't just visual, it was infrasonic. The dog's posture. The Quran specifies the dog sat with its forelegs stretched out at the entrance. This is the posture of a biological sensor. Canines are hypersensitive to low-frequency vibrations that humans cannot hear. Scientists have discovered that infrasound, frequencies below 20 Hz, causes a phenomenon known as the fear frequency. It creates a physiological feeling of intense dread, cold chills, nausea, and the irresistible urge to flee. Did the specific geometry of the cave, combined with the atmospheric pressure, create a bioresonant shield? A silent alarm? This is the manual's lesson for the end times. You don't need a kinetic army to stop Dajal's scouts. The cave wasn't just a hiding spot, it was a fortress of resonance. More than 3 centuries passed, but for them, it seemed a day or part of a day after waking up. This is the ultimate proof of Einstein's general relativity. Time is not a constant, it's a fabric. It slows down near high gravity or through quantum tunneling. The manual's lesson. Dajjal will claim to be the Lord of time and life. The cave proves that time is a creation, and those who follow the Asbab of Allah can exist outside of Dajjal's time system. When they woke up, they didn't use a digital ID or a credit card. They used pure silver. Decentralization. In a world of central bank digital currencies, your ability to buy and sell can be turned off with one click. The youths used intrinsic value assets. Silver and gold are the hard fork of the economic world. It is the only way to trade in a closed-loop system controlled by a tyrant. Surah Al-Kahf is far more than a historical narrative to be recited for tradition alone. It is an intellectual blueprint for a generation that refuses to be defined by the chaos of the end times. It is a direct invitation for the youth to bridge the gap between divine revelation and the laws of the physical world. The message is clear. Master the Asbab, the means. If you want to protect your community, you must excel in the sciences. Study the physics to understand the fabric of reality. Master the biology to preserve human health and potential. Decipher the economics to build systems of true value. The cave of the 21st century isn't just a physical refuge, it is a sanctuary of competence and knowledge. Dajjal's greatest advantage is not his technology, but a world that has forgotten how to think critically and scientifically about the signs of Allah. The miracles of the past were recorded to become the breakthroughs of your future. Don't just read the manual, become the architect of the sanctuary.